Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today is the 4th February 2018. Super Bowl's just ended a little bit ago. Tom Brady lost, and I don't know about you, but I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. I can live okay with that, and I think we're good. I also just had the mistake of accidentally posting this to my other channel because I keep forgetting that I need to the 4th February. I need to double check all that stuff. And so anyway, we're good, man. We're good. Tom Brady lost. It's 10 p.m. I did want to get this done a little bit earlier tonight. I'm going to try to move these streams up to about maybe 8 or 8:30 p.m. In the next couple weeks once I get stuff locked down, and because I'm gonna have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. Long day. Long day. I gotta take the girlfriend to work because we got one car. Come back, wait about 2 hours, then drive back up right next to where my girlfriend works to go take our daughter to her 2-month checkup at the hospital, and then take my girlfriend back to work because she's gonna come with, and then go home and then come back a little bit later. So it's gonna suck. Long day. So I gotta take the girlfriend to work because we got one car. Tom Brady being sad is funny. Is there an echo check? Okay. Drive back up. There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry. I have my end muted. I didn't know it was running through. But we're good now. It's good. It's good. So we're fine. No, it's an echo. The echo is gone. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. It's been a long day. Been a bit of a long day. So video playback. Yeah, it automatically does that. It's the unfortunate thing. It's the unfortunate thing. Did I watch Cloverfield Paradox yet? No. It's actually as soon as I'm done with this and I got to feed the baby again, I'm going to pop on Cloverfield Paradox while I do that. Watch that and everything. I'm excited. I did not know Cloverfield Paradox was going to be coming out. I didn't know that deal with Paramount had gone through. We don't even know the full specifics of that deal. We don't know if Cloverfield is now underneath if Netflix, if that's the deal they've come to. I mean, you know, like what's going on? We have no idea. We got to figure it out. Is there still an echo? There should not be an echo. There should not be an echo. No, I'm not seeing an echo on my end. Is the sound okay though? Because I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I'm not blowing out too loud on here. So you guys gotta let me know about that one. Cytotron, it is on Netflix. Yeah. Okay. Well, I really want to see Cloverfield Paradox anyway. So don't fucking say what the goddamn... Oh, are you talking about the backstory for Cloverfield and the hunt for all the info was cooler than the movie? Are you talking Cloverfield Paradox or the first Cloverfield? Because if you post spoilers for Cloverfield Paradox, I want the mods to remove you. I think that's just a fair thing. So okay, and there's a bit of a delay. We're running a little bit of a delay here, which is unfortunate. Which is very much unfortunate. But if you guys notice, I added a background light. It looks a lot better, a lot cooler. Of an image. I think it completes it now. I think it looks good. So I'm happy about that. Thoughts on the Solo trailer? I really 45 seconds. We don't see much. I liked what I saw. The part when Chewie put his hand on Han's back in the end and he did the... I can't do it, but he did the call. I love that. The question, though, is why didn't they show us... I mean, I know they teased us the movie, but... They didn't really give us any solid look at Solo, you know? So, I mean, unless they're trying to treat it more like it's the man, the myth, the legend, Han, you know his fucking name, Solo, coming to you live from the Millennium Falcon that can make the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. So, yeah. Yeah, I know, DKJ. I will remove your mod and then boot you. So I did hear about the linebacker that was unfortunately killed by a hit and run. That was that was killed by a drunk driver. That was very sad. I haven't watched all the movie trailers yet from the Super Bowl, but I did really like the Avengers. Ooh, shit, my phone is on. I also really liked Jurassic World. I thought that looked pretty good. I think that Jurassic World gave us more story in that minute than we got in the entire first trailer. So they're following the legend story where Han joined the Empire to pilot. Yeah, that's what it looked like, and that was pretty cool. So what's the beef between me and world-class bullshitters? Mopey Hornet? I have no idea. I have literally no idea. They're picking, like, from what I can gather, he's picking a fight with me, which is just dumb. Not that, like, oh, I'm so important. It's just dumb because I don't get it. I don't. Yeah, Tom Brady's Tom Brady has won 5 Super Bowls. Okay, he didn't get to go to hand number 2 and put on that 6th ring, so I'm okay with that. He almost got it, but didn't, and I hope he retires. So, thoughts on the whiny turd Tom Brady? Jesus, man, no one likes Tom Brady. CP is an unfortunate abbreviation of Cloverfield Paradox. William, no one is calling it CP. Do I know if YouTube changed its sub feed so it's just highlights? No. I don't know. I don't know. I don't quite know what's going on with that, to be honest with you. So, at this point, I didn't even watch the goddamn game. I watched no part of the game. I just waited for the updates on Twitter about the trailer. So don't ask me about the game. I didn't watch it. I don't watch any football. I don't care. Not my thing. Not my thing. The fact that he got one of his Super Bowl rings fitted for his thumb. Yeah, that's a baller move. That is a baller move. I will give him that. I'll give him that. But still, who is Tom Brady? That's a question. Yeah, that's a question. I didn't see the Westworld Season 2 trailer yet, so I don't quite know. Oh, there it is. So Windows is being a pain in the ass. Yeah, I hear you, man. So Paradox is on Netflix. As soon as I'm done with the stream, I'm gonna run off and go do that. So I definitely want to check it out. So yeah. Okay, so Mopey Hornet here talking about world-class bullshitters, saying, is he supposed to make a shill video on you or something? At least that's what they said in one of their videos. Sounds like Bloodsports. So ultimately, yeah, like they're doing a series of videos, what they call like Return of the Shills or Lord of the Shills or something. And essentially what it's referring to are people who they believe are paid by Disney to promote and popularize The Last Jedi. And apparently I'm somehow in that. Like I'm somehow in that whole thing, which I think anyone who's like followed my coverage of it over on 3 Buck Theater, youtube.com/3 Buck Theater. You all should go and check that out. I think anyone out there who knows me well enough to know that I've become apathetic to certain parts. But I haven't come out and said it's a good movie, and I haven't told people to go see it. So for some reason, in their mind, they have this belief that I'm a paid Disney shill. And hey, man, like I run a business. So if Disney wanted to pay me fucking money, to talk about their movies, I'd do it. So yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just saying it's kind of dumb. As soon as you're done with the stream, or I'm done with the stream, you're going to go take a dump. Good for you. Good for you. So, but yeah, I mean, I didn't care for The Last Jedi, but I'm not going to sit there and like completely decry it all the time. There are elements that I liked and there are elements that I didn't like. Hell, even the background on my computer is The Last Jedi poster. The poster is awesome. So I like it quite a bit. Yeah, people keep asking me about Logan Paul. Well, we're going to talk about Logan Paul. All right. My goal is, I said Logan Paul returns because there's a story about that because he did something freaking stupid. So Jack Barnhart here, $5. Thank you very much. Here saying Solo looks great. cautious but optimistic. Well, to be fair, it's kind of hard to say cautious but optimistic and then immediately have that come after it looks great. No, but I share your sentiment. Like the teaser looked good, the visuals looked really good. Like when you have the storm and the Star Destroyer outline is being shown through the cloud and the lightning, I thought that was really cool. The TIE fighters coming up underneath, coming out from underneath it. The scenes with everything else, or when he's trying to pilot, like he's got the speeder, and he's just like swinging it around, and Lando looked pretty cool. Emilia Clarke. Now there's immediate speculation that that's going to be Rey's mom. Like it's Woody Harrelson, the shot of him, like it looks pretty cool. I do want to see more. Tomorrow morning, GMA is going to have a thing, and I'll probably do a reaction for it for the other thing. Let's see here. Or what is it? All right. Frogger Pirate says, if I send you 5 shekels and a request, please for the rest of the stream, refer to football as sports ball. Well, I will tell you this, Frogger Pirate. I'm not a person who engages in sports ball. I find sports ball to be don't necessarily care. Reason why I don't like sports ball is because if I really wanted to see a bunch of overpaid, overgrown, sweaty men groping each other for money on national television, I would just watch the UFC, and I don't want to watch the UFC because as crazy as jiu-jitsu can be, it's really just if you watch jiu-jitsu without any kind of context, it does look like 2 men are getting ready to penetrate each other, and that's just foreplay. So ultimately, no, I don't like sports ball, but I do appreciate the request to refrain from calling it anything other than sports ball. And then also Isaac Clark here, $2. Damn the adult. Don't quite know what that means, but I appreciate your contribution. So no, it's not that. Classy Ulysses, my email is themundanematt@gmail.com. Why do you hate us who enjoy football in the UFC? I don't, man. I just don't care for it myself. When I ran for governor of California, right when they announced that I'd won the radio station contest, they called me up and they said, oh, by the way, we're sending you to Las Vegas. You and a friend, Las Vegas one night, and you get to go to a UFC pay-per-view event at Mandalay Bay. They put me up at Mandalay Bay. And so I was like, that was pretty cool. So my friend and I, we flew out there. We went to the pay-per-view event. We stayed for about 3 rounds, and we were just bored to tears. And I know like the opening bouts are meant to kind of get the audience worked up before you get to the main event, yada, 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 yada. They're boring, man. It's like, because the first guy comes out and he's just all like, the announcer goes, this person knows Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, damn, all right, he's going to fuck this dude up. And the next guy comes out like, he knows Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm like, oh, 2 jiu-jitsu masters. Oh, that is going to be fucking brutal. And then they just like laid on the ground and rolled all over each other and grunted loudly. And it just was like a really awkward affair. Like we're watching like a Roman bathhouse play out, where these 2 guys are like play fighting each other, but then it gets into something more sinister. And holes start getting plugged. It was weird. But no, I mean, like we left after that. We went to go get drunk and see strippers. We were in Vegas. So, what's going on, Chelsea? How are you? As a 30-year wrestling fan, you have to question the way some of those moves look. Yeah, when you don't know what you're doing, it's or when you don't know what you're looking at, it does look like 2 dudes are they're getting ready to brokeback each other. And there's nothing wrong with brokebacking each other. I have nothing against that at all. I just didn't really feel like watching it. So MMA equal violent gay sex. That's the way it fucking feel like. Oh, you were just watching that governor video? Yeah, it's a fun video. Should go back to gladiator fights? I thought about that too. I mean, we've got a really large prison population. I mean, I'm pretty sure if the option came around, like, hey, y'all want to fight each other and whoever wins gets their freedom? Like, oh yeah. I guarantee you we will see some form of return in gladiatorial punishment, or gladiatorial games in some form at some point in time. What's going on, Alice M? How are you? So, brokebacking. There's nothing wrong with that. Exactly. No, not my fantasies coming to light. It's really just like not necessarily my thing. But Vegas itself was fun. Went to a strip club, had a good time, got drunk, flew out the next day. I mean, it was a quick 23 hours in Las Vegas. It was a quick trip out. So, should hang convicted terrorists during halftime at the Super Bowl? I mean, like, if you want to, as a suggestion. At the same time, that might be getting a little bit too Saudi Arabian for us. The next thing you're gonna suggest is we just throw them off rooftops, right? Is just take them out and hug them off a rooftop. The halftime show was lame. I didn't even see it, man. I knew that it was JT. I love me some JT, but that was I didn't get involved. Justin Timberlake is very unentertaining. I like him as an actor, surprisingly. Him and Alpha Dog was great. He was actually surprisingly good in Alpha Dog. So I thought he was tight in that one. Also, Black Snake Moan with Christina Ricci was pretty good. He was good in that one too. They actually ended up doing the projection of Prince, because I'd heard about the projection of Prince. I'd heard about that. So, am I going to live stream every day? I generally tend to do like Sunday through Thursday for the most part. If it's your first time here, because we've got about 165 people watching right now, for 160 people watching, please go ahead and slap on that like, or hell, slap on that dislike, because ultimately it has no bearing on how YouTube interprets it. It looks at it as engagement. So the more that it gets is actually better for me. I would appreciate the like, because that would make me feel good, but my self-esteem's kind of low. But what I do is I pre-record content for the next day. I just have fun doing it in front of a live audience. And then usually in the afternoons, I'll do a live stream over on $3 Theater that covers movie news. That might actually be changing. I might be doing away with the live stream over there, outside of maybe once a week, where I just take Q&A questions and chat with people about movies. Simply because trying to do the live stream over there and the live stream here, I tried it all last week, and by Friday, oh my God, I was just dead to the world. I went to bed at 11:30 on Friday. Woke up at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, and then I'm usually a night owl, so I was up until 4 a.m. This morning, and I was up for 23 hours, and I was just exhausted. So like part of it is I put out so much work, I do so much content that by the end of the week I'm legitimately just destroyed. Mentally. And so, and I don't really give myself a lot of a break. So I need to find a way to kind of give myself a bit more of a break, which is why I like to record the content live in front of people. That way, I have the ability to interact. We can riff, we can talk, we can joke. And by the time we get to the videos, I feel the videos are a bit more lively, because I'm already kind of worked up from talking to you guys for a bit. So that's what I like to do. And Mundane Dad needs an update. Yeah, I haven't done much with that. The thing is, my daughter, I just started being a stay-at-home dad. So ultimately, that's a lot of the problems too, is with her. So I try to juggle being with her and then doing the daytime content. It's very difficult at times. So I bought a standing desk that's coming in the mail. I want to say sometime this week. So then I can do my work in here, and then I can go out there and be next to her, and then work on my laptop to get everything else done. So I'm trying to like simplify my existence, so to speak. I'm trying to simplify everything that I do in order to still have the constant content output, as well as, to make sure my sanity stays intact. Additionally, YouTube is obviously wanting more what they call educational content that they're going to be focusing more on. So I'm trying to think of ways to bring that in, only though for $3 Theater, where I'd like to go through and tell the story of movies that could have been, that would have been, but ultimately weren't, and why they failed. And eventually I'd love to be able to like do interviews with people that work in the industry and go from there. So that's all part of the plan. It's just getting it all situated. There's a lot going on in this noggin. So have I ever done acid? I have never done acid. So yeah, there's should race car drivers be called racists? No. Maybe. That'd be pretty funny. Logan Paul needs less coke. Logan Paul is, you know, kind of whatever. KSI versus Joe. Who did I want to win? I don't even really know what that is. Have I tried amphetamines? Yes. But not meth. It was legal. It was back when energy pills actually had amphetamines in them. Those were fun times. One time I took one before my friends TP'd a house with stupid shit that we had found. And so it kicked in right as the kid whose house we were TPing ended up coming out. And that kid started chasing us through the streets of Coronado in San Diego. And as that happened, my adrenaline spiked, which then also added into it amplified the energy pills, which were effectively speed pills. These were yellow jackets before the FDA kicked those things out. So I was basically like, you know, going like this the whole time and talking like a mile a minute and chain smoking a pack of cigarettes in an hour. After that, I stopped taking those. So there's that whole. I saw something here from Jack Barnhart saying streamline, simplify, subsidize. Pretty much. Have I ever thought about taking the keto diet? I know that keto is a thing. I'm home like 90% of the time, so I need to find something I can do here. You know, like I've been looking around on YouTube videos for like workout videos and stuff to do in the morning just to keep myself active, because I feel like I'm not as active as I could be. And I only have one car right now and the girlfriend's at work. And by the time she gets home, I'm just like, do I really want to go to the gym? It's, you know, it's that kind of thing. So yeah, I've thought about it. I don't entirely know a lot of what it is. So there's definitely that. So yeah, adrenaline plus amphetamine equal fun. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Cool Modi? Yeah, Necro Panda King. I don't know why it's not up. Even doesn't even like post to Twitter. I don't think I posted this to Twitter tonight. Actually, it's not good, man. It's not good. So we'll chit chat here for a few more minutes, and we'll jump into the stories. I got a good amount selected for tonight. So keto. Okay, fine. Keto. Sorry. What is that? Can do cock push-ups? Yeah. All you need to do is just one. So, but yeah. So what exactly? I don't know. What it is? What keto is? So you're gonna have to like explain it to me in terms of a way for me to understand. Do a lot of big farts. Yeah, but I'm not doing those on stream. So sorry. But yeah, I definitely need to get to the gym. I need to lose some more weight. Absolutely. I've you know, not as I could be exercising more active. A lot of what I do is very sedentary. This job is very sedentary, and so I need to do more of that. Philly is burning. I know Philly aren't they? I know they're partying pretty hard right now. So you send your body into ketosis, causing it to use fat as energy instead of carbs, thus burning lots of fat without burning out. Okay, without working out. All right. Yeah. Okay. So cool. So what do I need to do then for keto? Whatever. Because one of the things I thought about doing to help keep me motivated, because my life is basically based around creating videos, would be doing a weight loss vlog series on the Mundane Chats channel as a way to keep myself motivated and going forward. I did try something new on there tonight. You guys may have seen it if you're subscribed to that channel. If not, it's youtube.com/Mundane Chats. And what I do on there is I actually verbally responded to a whole bunch of comments on the Susan Wojcicki video from yesterday. And I've been wanting to do something like that for a while, so I actually mounted my camera on my windshield using a suction mount, and then just talked in my car, and I thought it turned out pretty good. So Philly we won, set fire to everything. Very true. More talk about drugs. I haven't done much in terms of drugs, man. I haven't done much. become diabetic. You know what? It's one of the reasons why I don't drink soda anymore. Now, granted, I'm drinking one of these passion tea lemonades from Starbucks, so I really can't talk much about that. Okay. Buttered eggs and bacon for breakfast, chicken salad for lunch. Use ranch liberally, steak and broccoli for dinner. Funny thing is, bacon and eggs is a breakfast that I'm going to have in the morning. Chicken salad because we, got a rotisserie chicken tonight. We have salad. I had a chicken salad for dinner. So with steak and broccoli for dinner. Well, I like steak. So I like broccoli. Works out, man. Okay, so Red here talks about what's it called? Net neutrality. Ajit Pai did kill it. There is a bipartisan support in Congress to overturn that. Like, a lot of people want to see it overturned. They might vote for it to be overturned, which would then send it to Trump's desk. But Trump, having basically put Ajit Pai where he is, and everything else, may not approve it, may not sign it, may veto that bill. Now, the thing is, though, states individually are suing the Federal Communications Commission right now over it. Colorado, California, and I believe Washington are three of the states, and they're very much trying to hold it to the same thing here. So I live in Washington, so for me, keep it coming, because I get pretty fast internet speeds that I don't want to lose, but I have a feeling that Comcast is going to screw me when my plan's up for renewal in a couple months. So that's kind of what's going on. Keto is like the steak, eggs, and bacon diet. Jesus, that doesn't seem like a diet. That was so. Hey, what's up, Mitzi? So okay, let's. Anyone? There was a mod I had in here. Came in for a while. A person by the name of Carrot. Anyone seen Carrot? Haven't seen Carrot in a long time. So there's definitely that. Also, so let's jump into this here. Any super chats or Streamlab donations that come through will be held pretty much until the end. If you want to see your name on the stream, go to streamlabs.com/mundanemet. That will come up through there. And I have it set up. So obviously I have to shill a little bit because this is still my job, but either way, 180 people in here. That's fantastic. I love that you guys come hang out with me, and let's I don't want to quote fucking Keemstar, but let's jump right into the news. Kind of. Now, I want to talk about Logan Paul here because I know the sorry matter's been beat to death. I've made my case for why I feel the entire thing is fake. And if you are just learning that for the first time, the entire thing was fake. Nothing about that video was real in the sense that it happened the way that Logan Paul showed us. It's complete fake. People out there don't want to believe me on that, and that's totally fine. We can have our difference of opinion, but for me, the whole damn thing was an inside job. Anyway, so Logan Paul decided to take a break, right? He did that whole, like, I'm going to go away for a while, you guys. Logan, I made a mistake. I'm going to leave. And then he came back, and he had that video about suicide awareness, which, and the Golden Gate Bridge. It was very well shot, very well put together, very well done. I will admit, I will give Logan credit on that one. But now he's making his return to YouTube, full-time vlogging again, because, after a month of not really making any videos, he probably saw, oh crap, I'm not making as much money as I could be. That being said, he hasn't lost any subscribers, and his actually daily views have gone up, but he's no longer on the Google preferred. He's back with the lowly, he's back with the peasants. As I said before, Logan Paul, welcome to mediocrity. And now he's going to be working hard to get those back up too. And the thing is, YouTube will give it to him. They will give it to him. That's the whole part of the Susan Wojcicki thing when she talked about, like, consequences for these creators. They've already said that they want to work with Logan Paul again, that they're open to working with Logan Paul again. They had deals worked with him and everything else. So, he's going to come back. But it says here that Logan Paul is making his return to YouTube today via dramatic video after Suicide Forest controversy. And it's a very dramatic video. Shamed YouTube vlogger Logan Paul teased his big return to vlogging world via dramatic action-packed video. The 22-year-old took some time out from the online world last month after he was slammed for posting a depraved video of a dead body in what is known as Japan's suicide forest. After withdrawing from the online world and logging off, he made his return to the public sphere via suicide prevention video and then a humbling interview on Good Morning America. I don't know if I'd call it a humbling video on Good Morning America. Michael Strahan just straight up like softballed, you know what I mean? Like just completely just gave it to him. You know, answer these questions, don't say anything stupid, don't drop the N-bomb, and don't talk about a body in a forest being fake, and you're good to go. And that is essentially what happened, is that he got this total easy layup interview on Good Morning America. And, you know, let's be realistic. The only thing Good Morning America is good for is showcasing like the Solo trailer tomorrow morning. That's about it. All right, they're not hard-hitting journalists. They're going to be limper than an elderly man without his Viagra. That's what they are. If it had been a YouTuber who had gone up to Logan Paul and asked these questions, oh, you best believe it would have been hard-hitting. It would have been hard-hitting at the end of the day. The YouTuber would have been like, you know what you did, right? You know what you did. You screwed us all, ultimately. And they would have laid into him for the whole community as a whole, and it would have been good. Anyway. Now it appears he's ready to resume normal broadcasting as he posted a video to Twitter overnight dubbed The Return. Yeah, you've been away for a month. No need for dramatics. And I totally agree. Just check this out. It's really lame. Oh, we're not getting any audio here. I'll have to... I don't know why there's no audio. Okay. I'm not getting any audio at all. Well, that sucks. I'll fix this definitely in post, but yeah, okay. Well, I'll fix it in post. I'll just fix it in post. But you guys can see it's just him coming out. You know, beard, stick, ocean, cave. I am Jesus. That's my first take from this. When he came out of the cave like this, and it's all like, you see the beard right here, I'm thinking, oh man, he is just like, no, dude, you weren't in a cave for 3 days and then returned only to ascend to heaven. You're not Jesus Christ. You're an idiot. And this is kind of a self-deprecating video at the same time, because the narrator calls him a boy and calls him all sorts of other things. And it does go on to describe it here. But at the end, it says, then if we didn't know how important this video was, you hear the sound of an eagle squawking. The voice then adds, the Maverick. Right. Now, the funny thing with that to me is that Maverick Clothing, the company that Logan Paul put everywhere, actually came out during this whole thing and said, stop, you know, using our clothing, stop all this stuff. Basically trying to say, don't associate you with us, we're done. But then Logan Paul still referred to himself as the Maverick, right? Well, there's only one person in pop culture who could ever refer to themselves as the Maverick and get away with it. And that, my friends, is Senator John McCain. Right, that was what he ran as in 2008. He was the Maverick. And I would argue that over the course of the past couple months in the United States Senate, he has proven himself to earn up to that title. Whether you like the guy or not, he's kind of been divisive. But this is all a branding thing. This is all a marketing thing from Logan Paul just to make his return. So it says, fans were impressed, sure, but even more were wondering why the lad is making such a big deal of his comeback. One said, you act as if you left to do some incredible shit, and now you're back with something everyone has been waiting for, but the truth is so much different. You're coming back after being a douchebag with a teaser that makes you look even more like a douchebag. Not surprised. Another person in your comments saying Logan probably shouldn't come back to YouTube. It's probably better off without him. A third one said parents need to find someone more suitable than him or his brother. Many of them are old enough to understand the gravity of what he did. I respect what people like for the most part, but this is one of those things that I just can't be okay with. And that makes sense to an extent. People are going to be upset at Logan Paul. All right, they're going to look at the video, real or fake, and they're going to say this was a douchey thing to do, which absolutely is the correct answer no matter how you look at it. But what you have to realize here is that Logan Paul does not care what I think. He does not care what you think. He does not care what the fine people at Good Morning America tossing him softball questions think. He doesn't care about any of that, because what he cares about is his fans, the Low Gang, hashtag Low Gang. Like the kid that threatened, that said he would kill himself if he could be in a Logan Paul video. That the person whose body was discovered in the forest should be thankful, should be grateful that he was featured in a Logan Paul video. Because if you're in a Logan Paul video, well, then that means you just get respect. You get noticed. You become some kind of internet celebrity. That's essentially what that's exactly what this kid was saying. And that's what these fans, these kids are into. And the thing is, look, people out there, I've seen a lot of commentary about this saying people should be upset at, like keep their kids away from Logan Paul. He's the devil. He's evil. He's mean, all these things. And I mostly just laugh because what you've got is a situation that's very similar to a lot of other heartthrob teen, celebrity sort of thing. They make all these mistakes and their fans just forgive them. But there's always that group that's like, burn the witch. And my only care here with Logan Paul has to do with the business side of YouTube. His actions in that video, knowingly, willfully putting out that type of content could have had a massive negative impact on people who do this job full time. And ultimately, it hasn't yet. But what it did do is it impacted the people who do this and that are big enough to have Google preferred ads. Because now every one of their videos is going to have somebody go and manually review it. That is part of that 10,000 person team that Susan Wojcicki is putting together in order to check out these comments. So that's going to impact those guys, because those people who put out some racy content, right, they're not going to be able to get monetized anymore. They're not going to be able to skirt around the system. If anything, what he's done is he has kicked the upper 1% of channels square in the dick, right? And they're going to be way more mad at him for that than anything else. People like me and others who are in my general area that do this full time, we're on Google AdSense. We're not Google preferred. So we're still dealing with the same situation. The biggest people that got screwed here were the littler channels that either don't have 1,000 subs or don't have 4,000 hours watched. And I talked about this in that response video earlier today on the vlog channel, where I had said, like, look, man, the vlog channel's got almost 2,900 subscribers. And in the last year, I've pulled in way less than 4,000 hours watched. And so I'm losing monetization on that channel here pretty soon. And so that's the whole point, is that those smaller channels are going to be hit. Those that treat this as a hobby, that they're able to pull in, I don't know, maybe like a little bit extra money every single month or something, or they use it as a way to save up for something and they're just kind of building it up. They might lose the incentive to come back and continuously make content. And that ultimately is where this Logan Paul situation puts us, is that it screwed the top guys a little bit. It's hitting the little guys a little bit, but everyone else in this middle area, like the middle class of YouTube, surprisingly is okay. But with Logan Paul coming back, the question will be, will he change? And will he actually, do better on the platform? Because he told Good Morning America that, everything happened for a reason, right? Oh, this happened for a reason. This happened for a purpose. It's my purpose now. It's his purpose to talk about it while it's hot, a controversy of his own making. And after that, we'll have to wait and see. But if YouTube ever found a way to get rid of him and his brother, or to dethrone them enough to replace them with some better people, I do think YouTube would ultimately be better off. But in the meantime, we're all just going to have to wait to see what he does next. And the truth of the matter is that puts him in probably the best possible position anyone on this platform has. Because love him or hate him, what he does could impact the rest of us, because in some cases it already has. And that's true. That's true, man. Logan Paul is like that. It's very much like that. He's got that. He's that poster boy right now. He's in that position where he's able to have that kind of impact on people, and it sucks. It really, really, really sucks. Yeah, I mean, again, all we can do is just watch and wait, and hope to God that he doesn't screw up anymore. So, but like I said, I think him screwing up is only going to hurt people in the top, man. Like, VidCon will be interesting this year because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be shunning Logan Paul, you know. And I'm hoping to run into him there because he runs around. I'm actually going to be doing the industry pass for VidCon because I want to learn. Looking at their VIP or their industry side of things for the classes they're teaching, some good stuff on YouTube. So I'll be going to check those out. At the same time, I'm hoping to meet him, just so I can in fact laugh in his face and just say, because I don't care. What's he going to do to a channel like mine? Try to call me out in a video and like all of his fans who aren't subscribed are going to come unsubscribe? That doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. If he fucks up again, then he'll be screwed. He screwed up, but he got a get out of jail free card. He went to YouTube jail on like a limited sentence sort of thing. So, Susan Wojcicki will screw us all by the end of 2018. Again, man, I don't know. It depends on what happens. You know, the thing is, everyone, including YouTube and the advertisers, want to go back to like 2016. Maybe not the advertisers, but everyone wants to go back to 2016 when everyone was making money hand over fist. And we get back to that time, which may take a little bit of time to get there. I mean, maybe not this year, maybe next year. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Will YouTube ever remove Onision? You know, that is that's something, simply because you don't. Onision has to do something pretty bad, and the content he puts out where he's like judging female bodies, like under 18 female bodies, definitely feels to me like it's something that is not good. But I'm sure YouTube signed off on it, just like YouTube okayed Logan Paul's video. Sorry, I know it's just a haul off on Super Chats till the end here, but I got to talk about Jax. I hate being as old as Logan. People hate millennials enough. It's what he says here. It will pop up here in a sec, but, all right. He's 22, man. Like, he's 22. I'm 35, you know, like, you can't really say that. Because all things considered, I'm considered a millennial, right? Like, I'm in that weird, what they call a zennial stage, but born between the years of 1977 and 1983. There's a 6-year window there that apparently is now called the zennial. And so I was born in 82. So for me, it's like I grew up, I remember TV, I remember black and white TVs, I remember non-cable, I remember no internet, I remember being able to stay out at night during the summer and having no one give a shit. Right? Like, it's a weird time to have grown up. My daughter won't get any of that. My daughter won't be given any of that stuff. So it's a weird place to be. Our 22-year-olds, I think they are considered millennials because they were born before the millennium, right? And so they've grown up in the millennium. I'm in that weird thing where it's like I'm on the top level of millennial, depending, again, on who you talk to. But I'm also in that weird stage where I can technically qualify as like Gen X, Gen Y too, where we have a lot of identity crises with my generation. We don't know. And now Millennial Matt, no. You're tired of being 35? I only have a month and a half left. So yeah, there's that. How awesome was it to go out on Saturday morning on your bike and come home Sunday evening after playing baseball with your bros and staying over? Yeah, we did a lot of that. We would go like roller skating. We would, we'd take the city bus wherever we wanted to go across town. We'd be gone from sun up to sundown, even later than that. Parents wouldn't care. You know, it'd be like 2 in the morning and like, hey man, you want to walk down to like the convenience store and go get like a personal pan pizza and a 2-liter of Coke and go watch X-Files at 2 in the morning? Or like, all right, cool. You know, like we did everything. We did everything together. And now I feel like it's, you know, it's kind of like it's the exact opposite of where things were, but anything could happen. Anything could happen. Awesome. We hit 222 people in here. Fantastic. So again, I'm gonna put it out there. We're at 71 likes. Let's try to get this to 100 likes. Help me get 100 likes. You like the show? You like what I do here? Hit that like button. I'm going to quote some Philly D motherfuckers. Cloverfield Paradox review, later tonight. After I finish the stream, I'm going to go watch it. and then we'll go from there. Yeah, don't spoil Cloverfield Paradox. Don't spoil it, God damn it. Don't spoil. So there's... All right, let us go and take a look here at the next story. So I got a couple I want to do, a couple I want to get through. So let me bring up the next one here. This one's kind of funny. This is a funny one I wanted to actually do yesterday, but I got so freaking delayed with everything, I just never got to it in time. But just the title of this thing cracks me up. We all know what it's like to have friends not check in, and that feeling of dread. Are they alive? Are they okay? And not just friends, but like, you know, your family, right? Like there are times where like even I don't hear from my girlfriend for a few hours when I know she's going to go out and like run some errands, and I'm like, are you okay? And I send her a text. If I don't hear anything back, my next thought is like immediately calling the police to organize a search party. And a lot of people feel that way for people in their lives. But this particular story is funny because a missing California woman wasn't actually missing. She was just competing on The Bachelor. But the story itself is so funny to me. So it says here that a woman reported missing in California was actually in a very visible place, competing on a reality show, The Bachelor. Now, okay, like you got to wonder what brought her to that point. Well, Rebecca Martinez, 22, was reported missing on November 18, 2017 by her mother, who had last spoken to her on November 12th. She says her daughter told her that she was going off to work in a marijuana farm and would see her in roughly a week's time. So what you have is a 22-year-old that told her mom, like, hey, mom, I'm going to go work on this pot plant for a week. I'll be back later. And the mom's like, okay, you go work on that pot farm, honey. And then she lied to her mom about working on a pot farm because that was more appropriate than going and being on The Bachelor. Probably less embarrassing in some places, to be honest with you, right? Probably less embarrassing. Now, local police attempted to contact Martinez and her close friends, but never received any response. While shooting most reality shows, participants aren't allowed to use cell phones or have contact with the outside world unless absolutely necessary. Any dire news or information is passed along to the participants via the show's producers, which happens. You know, that's just a lot of how it goes. They want to make sure that they're not out there Instagramming or tweeting or Snapchatting or talking about what's going on. They sign NDAs. They you know, they can't. They don't even know how it comes together, honestly, until they watch it on television. And that's true. They you know, even though they're filming it, they don't know how it's all going to be pieced together or what's going to happen. So only until they watch it on TV do they really know. Never mind the fact that all reality TV shows, and I'm sorry to burst this bubble if you happen to like shows like this, they're all scripted. They're all fake. Adam Ruins Everything has a great bit about it. You can look it up on YouTube. Now it says, in December, a deputy with the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office contacted Martinez's mother to see if the two had spoken, and she confirmed that she had, and her daughter said she was heading home. But in order to remove Martinez from the missing persons list, the police procedure dictates that authorities speak directly to the missing person. Since that never happened, she was never taken off the list. That's pretty funny, though. It's like you figure the mom would have contacted the daughter. It's like, here's the number. Can you call the police? And so on. But they're also probably want to talk to her in person to confirm that it's her and not just someone pretending to be her on the phone. It says here on Thursday, the North Coast Journal, an alternative weekly journal serving Humboldt County, posted an article with the headline, "The Humboldt 35. Why does Humboldt County have the highest rate of missing persons reports in the state?" Well, Humboldt County is a pretty big place. You know, lots of people live off the grid in Humboldt County. This has to do quite a bit with the marijuana farms and grow operations that occur in the area. And as a result of that, I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there probably don't even have birth certificates. You know, they're people out there that they grow up on the farm, on the commune, growing the devil's grass and making hemp out of it. So I would argue that there's probably a reason they have one of the highest rates, or the highest rate of missing persons report, is people go up there and end up on a pot farm and then just never come back. Because hey, listen, if you get all the weed you want to smoke and everything else is taken care of, why would you leave? I mean, if you're comfortable, then why go? Anyway, the article's photo, a montage of some of the missing 35 people, features Martinez in the bottom right corner. It was posted to Facebook, and the publication asked its readers if they recognized anybody. An astute reader responded to the photo, identifying Becca M. from the current season of The Bachelor. That's fantastic. The North Coast Journal promptly reached out to the sheriff's office, who then spoke to Martinez over the phone. She has finally been removed from the missing persons list. She reacted rather well to the news that she was missing, posting a joke about it on Twitter, saying, "Mom, how many times do I have to tell you that if you don't get that I don't get cell service on The Bachelor?" No further details were available, and there's probably not going to be. This woman here, she did something that is probably wasn't expecting. But the fact that she told her mom she was going to be at a pot farm when instead she had gone on to this season of The Bachelor under the name Becca M., hiding her identity, so to speak, it really does make you question what that family or how that family views reality TV, right? Like, I can't imagine a world where you would lie to your parents about working on a pot farm to go beyond reality television. It's not like you're, and again, The Bachelor is not some unwatched show. It's not some small reality, TV show on some small nothing network. We're talking ABC, huge show, if I'm quoting our president correctly. And it's just funny to me that, like, I want to know the mindset that went into this. Did this girl think that no one would know? Or did she think that if she did it and then got caught, it'd be better to ask for forgiveness than permission. But because no further details are given, and I'm pretty sure they won't be other than just kind of laughing at this story, ultimately we'll never know. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good. Yeah, bye, Mom. Going to a pot farm. My mom wouldn't care if I went to a pot farm. My mom wouldn't care if I went on a reality TV show. So, I mean, for me, like, when I lived in Los Angeles, I auditioned on Minute to Win It. And even though I completed the challenge that they'd asked me to do, that was building the cup tower in a minute, because I had said that if I won the money, I would make a movie with it, which is not what they want to hear. They want to hear big, loud, crazy. They want you to be a big, larger than life person. And I usually can be, but at the time I was nervous and was focused on the game at hand. I literally, at that point in time, I was just wanting to be, I was wanting to win. My gamer instincts kicked in, so to speak, but not my game show entertainment instincts. So, what's this from Starbucks? This is the Passion Iced Tea Lemonade. It's pretty good. I like it. There's no caffeine in it though, which is a problem. It's that part sucks. Am I doing weed? No, this is a vitamin B vape pen. It just I've been really wanting to smoke, but I don't want to smoke anything illicit. So there's that. The Bachelor is a bunch of jackasses standing in a circle. Yes, I completely agree. So hold on. Why is Andy Worski giving me shit? Is he still giving me shit? Last night I was doing a stream and apparently he was sending people in. I have no idea. Vape Life, Vape Nation. Like, yeah, it is some good iced tea, man. I know there was that Liberalist stream earlier. I caught wind of the stream. I tried listening to it, and then I had to go and I run errands, so I didn't get the chance to check it out the way that I wanted to. Yeah, it's a vitamin vape. My girlfriend's mom brought it up from California. She bought it off Amazon, so there's that. It's not really weed. If it was weed, you'd be able to tell by now. People who have seen my Slender Girl videos where I'm like really freaking baked, they will attest that I am just stoned. That they're like, oh, you can tell when Matt is stoned because Matt forgets to talk to people. Or I'll get like 2 sentences into a story and I just go, huh? So there's can we get a reality show about pot farms? I guarantee it will happen, man. I guarantee it will happen. If that's the thing, people will definitely want to see it. So you don't know what happened, but you miss me hanging out with failure. Well, yeah, nothing really to say. Personally, I just, I'm not my thing anymore. And that's really about it. Every Kevin Smith podcast he has baked. Not every single one. Not every single one, but a lot of them Kevin Smith is stoned, yeah. So Cloverfield Paradox is under embargo till I see it. That is correct. That is correct. Stop looking at Medusa to get stoned. Only way, man. Only way. Okay, let's jump into the next one here so I can get through this. This one should be a lot of fun because, yeah. All right. Oh, I have to say though, the lighting. I got the rim light now, right? It's the halo light, and it's looking good. I'm really digging the lighting on the stream. I think it's fantastic, and that's something that I do care quite a bit about. So let's get into it, shall we? I got a snap. I'm already recording, so I got a snap for traps. So there we go. And for those of you who are playing the snaps for traps drinking game, this is it. Uber driving, something that man. I really liked and ultimately really hated. I liked it because it was fun to go out and meet new people and then drop them off at a destination. You get a whole bunch of interesting stories all night long. You learn people's their plans for the evening. You learn their life's ambitions. You kind of learn where they've been, maybe where they're going. Ultimately, because well, you're taking them where they're going, so it does tie in. But one of the things that made me quit being an Uber driver was the company itself. Uber itself sucks, man. I really don't like Uber itself. So it says here that they set a tip limit without informing drivers. Now, when I was an Uber driver, we could not get tips. In fact, it was it was heavily it was heavily worded against it. Right? You couldn't get it in the app. They didn't want you having tip jars in your car. They didn't want you accepting tips, or they didn't want you asking for them or kind of insinuating that tips are okay. The reason why is Uber says that it was because they wanted the rider to feel like they're getting a luxury experience and or kind of a luxury car experience. And that's what they didn't want there to be that extra added pressure of tipping. I drive a 2013 Kia Soul. So when I was doing Uber, you're getting a ride in a 2013 Kia Soul. It's a nice car, but luxury, it is not. It's economy for a reason. But that being said, is they very much wanted you to maintain that idea. And I hated the company, right? You know that episode of Black Mirror when they rate everybody up to 5 stars, and if you don't have a certain rating, you're like kind of an unperson? I felt the same way about Uber. I actually quit mostly over the anxiety of keeping those stars because you don't know what people are going to vote you as, and you have no way of finding out anything because they don't ever leave you constructive criticism. So it's just not worth it to me, and the money sucked. So when Uber was sued for $100 million in a class action lawsuit, and they lost that lawsuit, there was the addition for tipping that came in, and that allowed them to basically allow drivers to put in tip cups in their car and everything else. But Uber still did not add the tipping feature into the app, whereas Lyft, the competition and ultimately a better company, had the ability for that. And so that is why this is actually a big deal for Uber drivers, and one of the reasons why Uber itself should probably just be decimated as a company. Like hands down. So it says here, in July 2017, Uber announced in-app tipping. Rachel Holt, the Uber's head of U.S. operations, and Aaron Schlichtkraut, head of driver experience, announced in a blog post published on the company's website. Uber had held off on including tipping in its app for 6 years, much to the dismay of its drivers. So the in-app tipping announcement was considered a great innovation. Customers no longer have to carry cash if they want to tip a driver. They can do so simply via the Uber app. And that's all people ask for. That is legitimately like the easiest thing in the world. Hell, if the Starbucks app allows you to tip the barista from inside the app. Why not add it to Uber? But like I said before, they felt that it was going against the company experience. They thought that it was going against what they were trying to, like, I guess you say, the experience of riding in an Uber car. But the thing is, though, many Uber drivers, because I was in a bunch of groups for drivers in Portland, they would put up like large mirrors in their car so they could see in the back seat. They would put up recording devices in their cars, like GoPros or other type of monitoring devices, simply because they wanted to protect not only their asset being their car, they wanted to protect their safety, and they wanted to make sure that if anything did happen, that the perpetrator would in fact be able to be caught. And that's the thing, is that kind of paranoia ran deep with Uber drivers because of the way the company acted about these things. And so that's one of the reasons why tipping, just that little thing, was one of the reasons why so many people were happy when it was allowed to come in. Because at the time I was an Uber driver in Portland, this was 2 years ago almost, there were 5,000 registered drivers in the city, and maybe a couple hundred actually on the road. Like, people they sign up and they quit because that's how the company makes its money. They want you on the short term, not the long term. It's just, again, Uber sucks. Just want to reiterate that fact for those of you out there in the peanut gallery. Use a Lyft if possible. Sponsored by Mundane Matt. No, more recent developments, however, showed that things aren't going great for the Uber drivers. According to a report from CNET published today, Uber has set a tip limit. CNET's Dara Kerr talked to numerous drivers who seem to be puzzled and outraged by the limit. Should there be a limit on generosity, they wonder? And the answer to that is no. No, there shouldn't be a limit to generosity. Now, are you going to get a $20, $30, $40, $50 tip from people on the regular? Probably not. All right. Like, I think the most I was ever tipped was like maybe $10 because I drove a dude to the airport. Right. And the drive itself was like a $14 fare. You know, going 15 miles out to the airport was like $14. You don't make a lot of money at this. But they go on to say, one driver here says, generosity should be something that you have no limit on. Another Uber driver recounted an experience from driving a customer in LA for about 90 minutes, but traveling only 35 miles. The passenger needed to run a bunch of errands as fast as possible, so they were impressed by the service. However, Uber uses mileage to calculate its fares, so the ride didn't cost much. The passenger didn't have any cash on him, so he decided to tip the driver via Uber's application, but couldn't. It says over the limit. Again, things like that have happened. One time I had a guy, picked him up, him and his girlfriend, from the movie theater, right? They wanted to go to separate locations. They wanted to take her home first, then take him home, which wasn't a problem. Again, working on mileage. And of course, they track minutes too. It's like 20 cents a minute or something like that. Like $1 a mile or 20 cents a minute or something. And the guy ended up losing his keys at the movie theater. So we had to go back to the movie theater. I helped him get in contact with the managers, go in, get his key, and then drive him home. And you know, he didn't have any cash to tip me. But I thought the fare was going to be long enough. But no, this is before the in-app tipping. So I kind of got screwed on, because he said he would tip me, but he didn't have any money, which I know is probably BS, but nice thing to say. But this over the limit thing is just really ridiculous. Other drivers have come out and shared their similar experiences. At first, they thought the limit on in-app tipping was a glitch, a software bug Uber will soon sort out. As it turns out, it's not. Uber has set this limit to combat fat fingers. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Now, and I understand that. I have the Samsung Galaxy S8 here, and if you try typing fast on that thing, you will freaking hit other keys, and I have sent some weird text messages accidentally because, yeah, fat fingers are a thing. But if you sit there and when you have the fat finger situation for the tips and they hit the button, you add a bit in there, a confirmation window. Are you sure you want to tip this amount? Give them time to decide, you know, to see if they've made a mistake. Oh, I want to give them $20, not $2,000, that sort of thing. Now, a company spokesman told CNET that the tip limit is meant to aid customers in case someone wants to tip 20 but accidentally adds another 0, so they don't have to go through the time-consuming process of getting their money back. Instead, the tipping limit will prevent something like this from happening. But how would you go over a limit? Is the over limit, is that on the customer? But if it's tied to their credit card, then how would they know? And that is unless they're trying to pull the money out and they're over the limit on their funds. So that's something that I'm kind of curious about too, if it's over the limit on the customer side, which would kind of credit the fat fingers thing, because I don't get that at all. Passengers are free to tip additional amounts in cash, but it's safe to assume situations like the one Uber drivers experienced will be inevitable. According to Uber, the current tip limit is about 200% of the fare. Okay, but if someone wanted to 200%, I get that, right? Like, again, some rides are like $5, and so if you want to tip out $100 on a $5 fare, that's your 200%, right? But that's a lot. 200%, you know. Oh no, it'd be more. That's the 2,000%. My math is off. So on like a $2 ride, if you want to tip someone $5, you're going to be over the limit, right? That's what it would be. That's dumb. They should really up that to like 1,000% or something, or just add in a freaking confirmation window. How about that? Right? But of course, this is what you deal with when you deal with Uber, a company that is just racked by controversy, racked with scandal after scandal after scandal. Drivers hate working for them. There's a huge high turnover rate. Nobody likes being an Uber driver. They like the concept of it. They find it fun. People get into it because they look at it as a way, as a get rich quick scheme. And some nights it feels like it is. There were some nights I drove where I would drive for 3 hours and I would make, over $100, right? And that's a good thing. But then those nights are like few and far between. So you have to like really space it out during the key hours. I like to kind of go out just randomly to get out of the house and stuff. I do drive Uber Eats where I live. I did drive Uber Eats. If I go back to doing it again, I'll drive Postmates. I won't even touch Uber Eats because where I live, there's nothing here. The most orders I end up taking people are their McDonald's orders. So when you basically have kind of become a McDonald's delivery driver, you have to question where you are in life. And honestly, underpaid YouTuber is a lot better. But that being said, I have nothing against anyone who works at McDonald's. It's an honest work, but being the delivery driver is crap. It's crap. So again, if you're looking to get into this type of game, I recommend Lyft. I do feel they treat their people a lot better, and that's just my recommendation to you. Oh my God. It's so stupid. All right, let's see here. Okay, so we have a choice. Real quick, we have a choice. You guys want to do 2 more or 1 more? Honest question. 2 more stories, 1 more story. 2 more, 1 more. That's what I want. There was a super chat that I saw come through. Let me take a quick peek at that one there. Delicious Tide Pod. $5 Canadian, says, nothing to add, just love your vids, want to give you a little something to keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome, Matt. Well, thank you, Delicious Tide Pods. If you weren't poisonous, I would eat you. But I will say, just as a quick note, Natalie Portman on SNL last night did Natalie Raps 2, and there was a great Tide Pod joke on there. So props to the writers for adding that in there. I love when internet memes make it into SNL, and also when SNL is funny. Because it's rare that happens these days, it feels like. But yeah, there's just man, fuck, seriously, don't do Uber. Don't do that shit. Like, I have friends who drive Lyft. They like driving Lyft, but when I was in Anaheim last year for VidCon, I only used Lyft when I was there. I didn't use Uber at all. And the thing is, though, is that essentially a lot of the drivers that do both have told me too that they just don't like using Uber. There's people who've been killed for being Uber drivers, by the way. In France, the taxi cab drivers pulled an Uber driver out of his car and beat him to death. So that also was something that stayed with me too. Lyft hasn't had anyone get smote for working there and whatnot. Two most always. So Buckshot. Okay, cool, man. I like hearing your thing here. He says here, as an Uber driver, I just want to say that I don't use Lyft because the lack of in-app navigation really pisses me off and constantly causes the riders problems too. I understand that. That's very weird. I have never driven for Lyft because Lyft had they wanted me to have a driver's license in the state for a year. And I just moved up from California a year earlier, and I'm like, I just got a car, so Uber never asked for that, so I thought it was fine. And the thing is, the in-app navigation for Uber even sucks too, which is why I kept using Google Maps. So I don't know why Lyft doesn't do that, but okay, good to know. Ryan Nichols here says, I do pot, Uber, and eat Tide Pods. All right, sir. You are a maverick, as Logan Paul Army would say. Abyss Walker, haven't seen Cloverfield, man. Haven't seen Cloverfield. 2 more stories. I can go watch Cloverfield. Chelsea, I did see the Solo trailer. I thought it was pretty good. Very much excited to see what comes out from Good Morning America tomorrow. Debating on if I want to do a reaction video for that. I don't like to do reaction videos. Like, I've been doing them in the live stream and whatnot, but I don't like it, you know? Like, I watch, like, Grace Randolph do reaction videos, and I'm just like, it's not me. I'd rather, like, look at it and, like, you know, and, like, maybe break it down and talk about what I like. That to me seems more like my style, but the reaction videos, I'm sitting there like, you know, because I like to analyze what I see. So watching me watch something is like the stupidest thing on the planet, because I'm just like, yes, tell me more. I want to see. I want, in my mind's eye, I want to view this in my mind's eye. So there's definitely that. All right, so let's jump over here to the next story. This one, I'm just gonna preface this by saying this one will instantly get me demonetized on YouTube tomorrow. Not kidding. This one will get me demonetized. But I like talking about fucked up stories, and this, my friends, is a fucked up story. Yeah. Listen, man, I love Game of Thrones as much as everybody else, but even I'm tired of how the incest storyline of that show played out. Okay, great. Cersei and Jaime, they bumped uglies numerous times, had 3 children. We can move on from that now. But when it plays out in real life, it's clearly more disgusting, and it's something like this. By the way, that has more to do, I should say, with the movie Oldboy than it does with Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones is a more current pop culture reference, which is why I led with that. Anyway, father-daughter couple arrested for incest after having love child. Yeah. This is the thing. A 42-year-old North Carolina man and his 20-year-old daughter have been arrested on incest charges after having a love child last year and reportedly getting married. You know, we hear about this sometimes. There's been some stuff like this recently. There was a story I talked about last year. It was a woman who had married her son, got in trouble for marrying her son, and then had tried to marry her daughter, got in trouble for trying to marry her daughter. And there's apparently incest is a thing. Incest is the best. Put your daughter to the test, I guess, is the motto of this particular story. Now it says here, Stephen Plotty, 42, of Knightdale, and Katie Plottle, 20, were arrested January 27th, citing warrants. They have also been charged with adultery and contributing to delinquency. The maximum sentence for incest charge is 10 years in prison. I want to know the adultery part, I'm curious to know about. Also, the contributing to delinquency is something I'm very curious to know about. Now, it says the child, a boy, was born September. Stephen Plottle was released on a $1 million bond. Katie Plottle's bond is also $1 million, but as of last week, she's still being held in a North Carolina jail. They appeared in court last week. Now, here's the thing. This dude had $100,000 he was able to put up to get himself out of jail, but left his daughter wife in prison because she can't get out on bail, right? Upstanding North Carolina citizen. This is nothing against the people of North Carolina. I'm sure you're wonderful, amazing people, but this dude be cray. The charges were brought in Virginia, where authorities believe the relationship began. The station reported that Plottle gave up Katie for adoption when she was an infant, and they reunited in 2016 when she tracked him down via social media. That's what I'm talking about when I say that this has some semblances, some resemblances to Oldboy. Right, but this isn't some master plan by someone else to get revenge on the father by making him fall in love with the daughter. This is one of those moments where it's kind of like, you know, she didn't know her father. Clearly daddy issues at play here. 20 years later or 18 years later, whatever, she tracks him down via social media, and she's like, wow, you're my dad. You're also really hot, and I totally want to blow you right now. And he's like, cool, baby. And your mom was a whore too. She's half you. Like that sort of thing is how I feel it probably played out. But speculation is what the name of the game here. Now, at the time, according to the news station, Plottle was living outside of Richmond with his wife, Katie's mother, and their 2 children, girls who would have been Katie's sisters. Oh, I didn't know about that. The plot just thickened, my friends. So that is where the adultery comes into play. He cheated on his wife with him and his wife's biological daughter, of which they had 3 children with, and they also got the 1 girl pregnant. This is something that Lifetime can't even make up, but it happened. Oh, it happened. Katie moved into the home. The station reported subsequently, Plottle and his wife legally separated in November 2016 and began living apart. She told authorities that just before she moved out, he would sleep on the floor in Katie's room. Online records show that the wife filed for divorce in March 2017 and obtained a divorce decree 3 months later. Okay, so I'm assuming that they probably, so they were probably already doing some stuff beforehand. I find it odd that adultery is illegal in the country. I mean, I understand why it would be illegal. Technically, marriage is considered a contract. So if you violate that contract, that would be in violation, I guess, of civil law. And so I get that part of it. But at the same time, it's kind of like, really? I mean, it happens all the time. Like, I watch enough porn. Like, no one ever cares about adultery. No one. The ex-wife learned Katie was pregnant last May. 8 days later, child welfare workers in Virginia began conducting interviews. According to the station, they also interviewed 2 older children who say they've been told their father fathered Katie's baby. Well, that's an odd conversation to have with the children, right? Sit them down, little Tommy, little Mary. You know, you're sitting there like, kids, this is a story of how I met your sister mother. Oh no, that would be how he talks to his daughter, the boy, right? This is how I met your sister mother. It all started back in the year 2000. We had your sister mother, your grandmother. What would that be? Grandmother? Yeah, no, your great grandmother, I guess, essentially. No, your grandmother. Or your grand aunt. I don't even know. There's not even a joke there. But we gave her up. She came back into our lives, and her and I just hit it off, right? We just hit it off. We were watching Game of Thrones. It just kind of one thing led to another, and before I knew it, here you are, our bundle of flipper baby, scraping the bottom of the gene pool there, right? So anyway, the warrant shows that Stephen Plottle then told his children to call Katie their stepmom, but they knew that she was their sister. It's a mother sister. And police in suburban Richmond issued arrest warrants for them last November. The ex-wife told WTVR-TV that her former husband and Katie married in Maryland and then moved to North Carolina. She believes her ex-husband brainwashed and manipulated Katie. And then also here, the station's legal analyst Todd Stone says, this is a pretty unique set of facts, I would say. Yeah, I'd call it a pretty unique set of facts. I'd call it a pretty unique tale. A tale that is not, well, actually, it might actually come across as being a tale as old as time, to be fair. Incest is not like a new phenomenon, right? So it could be a tale as old as time. In no way is it right. Now, I guess the question here is, because there's a question here, and the question here ultimately boils down to, do you think that these people, being consenting adults, should have the legal right to marry and foster children together, right? Or to create children together. And as much as I feel like, no, I don't feel like that should be a thing because it's not a societal norm. Ultimately, I guess the question boils down to, and you could feel differently than me, and that's entirely fine. Because again, I'm against this wholeheartedly, but it's like, do they have that right, being Americans who have not hurt anyone or been violent to anyone, and this is where they just choose to spread their love? It does make me think a little bit of the Tom Arnold movie The Stupids and that song I Am My Own Grandpa, which if you haven't seen it, jump onto YouTube and check it out. It's the best part of the whole movie. But I'm just saying, I mean, the question I put to you, and they will be fun to read in the comments, is this something that the state should ultimately get involved in? If he did in fact, divorce his wife, and he did in fact move on and have an affair with this girl afterward, even though she's his daughter, is it illegal? Immoral? Oh yeah, absolutely. But illegal? That's where I put my question to you. So good luck trying to figure out this moral quandary. Seriously, that's fucked up, man. Won't the kid be retarded? That's the thing. That's the whole thing, essentially, is the kid retarded? I have no idea. I made a flipper baby joke, which is not right to the kid. The kid is not, the kid's done nothing wrong here. The kid's going to grow up knowing that, that what was it? His father, his mother is his sister. I don't know. Ted Bundy had something very similar to that too. Immoral, not illegal. See, yeah. The kids only get retarded a long time of it happening. Oh, okay. Okay, so when they start having kids, it becomes illegal. I don't know. Hey, Mr. Epstein, what's up, dude? I didn't know you were in here. So yeah. So once we perfect genetic testing and we can weed out any defects a week after conception, is incest still immoral? Again, that is a tough question. And true, Daniel, true. Yes. Incest doesn't equal retardation, clearly. But the long standing joke has always kind of been flipper baby. So there's definitely that. Hey, DKJ, keep it cool, man. Keep it cool. Repsian is cool. Incest is the Tide Pod equivalent of sex. That is fantastic, man. That is fantastic. Oh, Jesus. His father is his grandfather too. That is correct. That's what I was looking for. That was the part I was looking for. You defend incest as long as they're consenting adults. I can understand that. Again, it is a moral quandary, one that is clearly up to the person themselves to determine, and everything else. Is Rep going to do a stream? We've done a stream before. I forget who. Oh no, I had who was it? Vadim come on in, and Vadim was very tired and very odd conversation. Oh, Ben Isaac, you trying to talk some trash? Cry baby Matt Jarbo the Hut. Oh, you try. Can't even spell my first name right. If you can't even if you can't spell properly, how can you be, thought of as a proper insulting person, right? So, incest is fine, as long as they aren't furries. No, he wasn't drunk, Daniel. He wasn't drunk. He was really fucking tired. So he, that was just Vadim doing Vadim stuff. So, that Vadim, it was an odd stream. It went on. I like Vadim. I spent about 45 minutes talking to him yesterday. And he's getting sleep, so he's doing a bit better. But I constantly tell him, like, stop touching the poop. Stop touching the poop. So, yeah, fuck you, Magd. That's right. Bring back Magog and Bering. I sent Bering a link last night, and Bering did not make it in, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate. You click the stream. We're talking about incest. What a place to join. You never know what you're going to get when you come on a Mundane Matt show. You never know what's going to happen when we start talking. We cover all sorts of topics here. Oh, Ben, you're still trying. That's so funny. You think you're funny. So Sonic is how you make. I'm vaping. It's a vitamin vape pen. So it's like B2 energy. Keeps me going. Third cousins aren't blood related, technically not incest. Well, you learn something new every single day. You learn something new. The whole conversation's about cousin fucking. This is where we've taken it right now. This is where things have gone. This is what's going on. We talk about incest shit. All right, let me bring up the last story here, because you guys are fucking funny, man. You guys are fucking funny. You guys crack me up. You guys keep me young and shit. When are we gonna set up a roast stream? I should do a roast stream. It will get very crazy. It will get very crazy. Now, this next story, before we get into it here, this will probably trigger a lot of people when the video goes live tomorrow. But I just came out tonight from the AP. This is not like some fake news InfoWars shit here. This is going to trigger a lot of people who do not like the trans world. So check this out here. So what we got here is now over the course of the past, I want to say like 4 or 5 years, it feels like, the discussion over trans rights and trans acceptance in our society has been a very interesting one. There's been a lot of people who have been legitimately fighting for rights, especially to use the bathroom of their choice in places like North Carolina. And, we've seen transgender women go on to become state representatives. And, we have people like Brianna Wu, who's trans, who is running for Congress in Massachusetts and has no chance of beating the beloved Democrat incumbent, of which she's trying to dethrone. So you've got it from all across the place here. But additionally, you have shows like I Am Jazz, and that show about a young trans girl who going through the transition, going through her life, coming into her own, going and dating, all that kind of stuff. And where you find out down the road that because she's been on hormones since the age of 6, her body was unable to actually go through puberty in a way that her male-born body should. And as a result, a sex change operation is not going to be a possibility because of that. Now, the question has come up as a result, is that considered child abuse? These kids who are under the age of 18 having hormones injected into their body by their parents and then not being able to formally go through the puberty and the rest of adolescence are coming into these kind of problems. And there's going to be many cases that we hear. So this story right here says that not a boy and a girl, more teens identify as transgender. And that is something that I've been seeing a lot of for the past couple of years. Now, ultimately, when it comes to transgenders, I got no dog in this fight. Okay. I don't care. If you're happy, you're happy. My only concern boils down to whether or not you make the right choices for your body when you are of age to then make those choices yourself. And I do feel that the term transgender is a very realistic term, in that in some cases, like let's say, for example, Coy Mathis out of Colorado, where Coy's mother was more pushing the agenda and using it as a way to become a figurehead in the trans activist movement. And I view that as very suspicious, simply because it's like, did you do this for your child or did you do this for you? And because of people like that, and because of people like Jazz Jennings' parents, I do question the legitimacy when I see these things, only because I feel if like, and I've had this discussion before we get into this here. I have a 2-month-old daughter, and my girlfriend and I were talking about it. And if our daughter decides that she is trans and she's a trans man or whatever, we are fine with that. That is her choice. However, we will not allow any kind of body modification or hormone therapy to take place until she is of age to legally make that decision herself. And the reason why is because of, well, my aforementioned points: going through puberty, growing up, actually being able to understand the weight of the decisions you want to use. So when I look at a story like this, I'm wondering how much of this is legitimate and how much of this is simply because it comes across as a fashion trend. And who knows? Let's take a look here. So it says that far more U.S. teens than previously thought are transgender or identifying themselves using non-traditional gender terms, with many rejecting the idea that girl and boy are the only options, new research suggests. The study looks at students in the 9th through 11th grade and estimates that nearly 3% are transgender or gender nonconforming, meaning they don't always identify as the sex they were assigned at birth. That includes kids who refer to themselves as using neutral pronouns like them instead of he or she. And just recently, I actually met a high school senior who is, I guess, kind of like a second cousin or something, who I've known for a while, but over the course of the past year, she, who was named Becky, now shortened her name to Beck and just wants to go by they or Zer or something. I kind of made a bit of a joke about it when they told me, which they did not like, but I also don't think I necessarily cared because I'm kind of like, I personally think it's stupid, but that's me. Because it comes across as more of a fashion trend. Like I'm trying to be edgy. When I was in high school, that's when like the bisexual craze was a big thing, and that like the one bi kid in school was super popular because he was bi, and that's the whole thing is like, you look at it and you go, how much of this is legit? How much of this is you just trying to tack on to a trend? And it's hard. It's very difficult, to be fair, because you don't know. And we don't know looking outward what this person is feeling. And I'm not wanting to judge, even though I probably do subconsciously and through some of the jokes I make. And that is something that I do need to approach from a more neutral, objective, and understanding perspective. That being said, I get more mad at the parents than I do at the kids, to be honest with you. Parents who don't want to tell their children wait or no or don't. And I think they allow this kind of mentality to permeate because the kids are going through their own identity crisis and the parents just kind of let them be because they don't want to be called any names or something. Now, it says here that diverse gender identities are more prevalent than people would expect, says lead author Nick Ryder, University of Minnesota postdoctoral fellow who studies transgender health. The study is an analysis of 2016 statewide survey of almost 81,000 Minnesota teens. So this isn't like a small sample size of like 2,000 or 3,000 people. 81,000 is a fair amount, right? Not completely indicative of the millions upon millions upon millions of teenagers in the country, but it is not as small of a sample size as we've seen in some of these studies before. The nearly 2,200 identified as transgender or gender nonconforming. The study found that these kids reported worse mental and physical health than other kids, echoing results seen in previous research. Bullying and discrimination are among possible reasons for the differences. Let's think about that for a second. So what you've got is, and this is coming from my perspective, again, I've mentioned this before, when I was in elementary school, there were two groups out to kick my ass every single day. The KMFA, which stood for Kick Matt's Fat Ass, and the Poke Patrol. And these guys were out every day to beat my ass down and shit. Mostly because I have a mouth on me and it got me in trouble. And they're also, pieces of shit for picking on a fat kid with glasses. But the point is, there was a lot of that. And I can understand like low self-esteem and trying to find acceptance. And then you come across this movement of people online, especially through Tumblr, where they're always questioning their gender identity. They're questioning, heteronormality or whatever the hell it is. And there are all these things like, they come across as part of the internet where everything has a label and everything has a definition, and it's always kind of this war, and they find themselves kind of embracing it, and that's one of the things that leads to this mindset. It almost comes across like a bit of a cult to an extent, if left absolutely unchecked. And I feel that given the fact that nowadays kids have access to far more information than they did when I was in school, that they can kind of get involved in certain things, and their parents don't really know what to ask because their parents aren't seeing it themselves. One of the reasons why that with my daughter, I do plan to be as active as I possibly can, not restricting her the flow of information, but always questioning that information and being there if she has any questions herself, hopefully to help guide her down her own path, but to have full understanding of what it is that she is seeking information on. Now, it says here that Ryder said it's a study based on statewide population of teens in 9th and 11th grade, and that the results can be used to estimate the number of trans and gender nonconforming teens in those grades across the country, which may or may not be the case. Although the study only included teens in 2 grades, the rates are higher than a UCLA study released last year, estimating that 0.7% of teens aged 13 to 17 are transgender, or about 150,000 kids. The study used government data on adults to estimate the numbers for children, and it said that 0.6% of U.S. adults identify as transgender, or about 1.4 million. Not that many, but then again, what this is particularly stating is not that these kids are identifying just as transgender, it's transgender or non-conforming. And it's that non-conforming part that is, I think, where a lot of people find themselves, especially now that Facebook allows you to use 37 genders, right? You know, there's that joke about like, oh, what do you identify as? Well, an attack helicopter. And fuck you if you try telling me otherwise. Don't helicopter shame me. I am who I am. You know, now give me that can of motor oil. I'm thirsty. Because we read posts about this on Tumblr, right? You read posts about the girl who's like, in my past life, I was a tortoise. I am tortoise kin. This is who I want to be. I put a shell on and I lay on my back and I roll around real slow and I eat lettuce and I eat peanut butter from the jar, and that makes me feel like a tortoise. And she writes about this on a blog, and people, you know, I mean, whether it's real or a story, we have no idea, but people treat it as being real and also mock it as such. So it becomes this thing where you have to ask yourself, how many of these kids are just being exposed to some of the dumbest crap imaginable on the internet, and they're treating this as their objective truth because nobody is there to tell them that this is just a stupid freaking thing. That's it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure this video will be very much skewered to crap by people out there. And I'm not trying to say don't be trans or whatever, or don't have a non-gender whatever. But at the same time, a lot of people out there are going to question it because it comes across as kind of ridiculous in some cases. So it says here that, but differences in estimates may also reflect differences in how gender identity questions are phrased. The Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has not asked about transgender status on its youth surveys, noting it is difficult to find the right question to yield a credible answer. Well, that's true, because if you ask the wrong question, you might just be heralded as transphobic, because it happens too. Remember, it's all the cis heteropatriarchy, right? All that out there. The survey writer analyzed asked about sex the teens were assigned at birth, and if they considered themselves transgender, genderqueer, gender fluid, or unsure about their gender identity. Kids were not asked if they'd undergone surgery or any other medical treatment to transition to the opposite sex. Dr. Daniel Schumer, a specialist in transgender medicine at the University of Michigan, wrote in an accompanying opinion article in Pediatrics that said that the study supports other research suggesting that earlier counts of the trans population have been underestimated by orders of magnitude. He said that the higher number should serve as a lesson to schools and physicians to abandon limited views on gender. But depending on who you talk to, there's only 2 genders. I mean, and I think looking at just general biology, there's probably only the 2, you know. But then again, people will argue, well, there's a difference between sex and there's a difference between gender. But they never really explain why, right? Like, oh, your biological sex might be male, but you identify as that attack helicopter. Or your biological sex is female and you identify as that tortoise, the tortoise, or hell, who knows? I'm sure there's a curious Doctor Who fan out there that identifies as the TARDIS. And just dresses up and lives in a freaking cardboard box as that's what they live in. Who knows? It's so it says you are rejecting this binary thinking and are asking adults to keep up. Or youth are rejecting this binary thinking and asking adults to keep up. Well, the question that I have with that is, if youth are rejecting this binary thinking, are they rejecting it based upon their own experiences, or because they are told to reject it by the status quo of other youth? Keep in mind, youths tend to follow the trends when they are in school. The trends, like, you know, look at bell bottoms, for example. It was a trend in the 1970s, right? Students got into that. When I was in school in the 90s, it was acid wash jeans and holes in your jeans. People were selling $50 pairs of jeans that were pre-cut. You know, and you could go to the store and you could buy them. Those were a trend. It's a fashion trend. So you have to ask yourself, these teens that are at the age of 9th grade, 11th grade, and in between, that are trying to find their identity at that time, and they're looking for some form of acceptance, and they don't feel quite right about who they are, and their parents having grown up almost not being 100% involved simply because of what of the the bring about of technology, and parents having to all work and not being there at the kids because the economy is crap. These kids are being left to their own devices, and through that, usually device is like a tablet or a phone that leads them to the internet, and they try to find other like-minded people, and they come across these stories about girls who become tortoises and sit in their room eating peanut butter out of a jar and yelling at their mom for not calling them by their real name, Squirtle. Or her tortoise name of Squirtle. So you've got all these things that come into question here, and I really wonder, actually, if you really want to get a solid idea about youths rejecting this, your best bet would be to conduct a follow-up survey with those teens' parents to see how involved they are, how informed they are, and whether or not this might be something that stems from a lack of parental oversight and parental tutelage than anything else, because that could be a factor as well. However, I will fully note that it is taboo to even remotely suggest that that could be a thing. And I'm not saying that it's real. I'm not saying that this is where we are, but it's offering a question, an alternative hypothesis to the study proposed. It says that writer said to improve health disparities affecting transgender teens, doctors should help them feel more comfortable about seeking healthcare by asking how they identify and if they're experiencing bullying, discrimination, or other victimization. That's important, writer said, because this conveys competence, inclusivity, and caring. So, but again, I have to just kind of, because of what they say here, and again, this could just be the subjective viewpoint of the author of the article. But when they say, when you're asking these kids, have you experienced bullying, discrimination, and other victimization? Is this the reason why you become trans or you become gender nonconforming? Because that's a question you have to ask. But I don't know if they're asking that question. I think they're saying, like, the kids are saying, like, they're being bullied, discriminated against, or other forms of victimization because of their gender nonconforming or they're being trans. But one has to ask the question too of if the bullying, the discrimination, and the other victimization is the cause of. Right? That is the root problem. Not necessarily a symptom of their depression, but the cause of their transition. Again, simply a question that I'd like to see an answer to, and one that I don't have the ability to provide myself, but it's something that I would think of. Because here's the thing, when I was in school, I was, like I said, I was discriminated against, I was picked on, I was bullied, and it caused a lot of depression. But instead, I put my anger, my frustration into video games and not reading Tumblr blogs. And I think for that, I'm also eternally grateful. So to finish up here, it says that advice echoes the American Academy of Pediatrics policy that says pediatricians should use gender-neutral terms and encourage teens to feel comfortable talking about their emerging sexual identities. But that's the thing, though, is if you're gender non-conforming, that's not entirely insinuating a sexual identity. Can you guys see, like, how a lot of these things are kind of they become conflated? The terms kind of cross each other. The descriptions cross each other. These things don't really make a lot of sense in that regard. It's one thing that I'm very curious about, and I would very much like to know your thoughts. And again, I am not insinuating any of this in order to be discriminatory or to be, mean about it. I'll make some jokes, obviously, but at the end of the day, I have questions about the validity of where we find ourselves through teen trends. And so I'll always ask the question, is this considered something that is in fact a byproduct of, rather than an evolution of? And I also like to put that question to you guys, because I think through discussing this in a rational way, and even some humor thrown in, we might be able to get to the bottom of it, because that would make all this a lot freaking easier. Holy crap, that was long. All right, Frogger Pirateer says, I sexually identify as a messiah, which means I love prostitutes. Mary knows. Well, Mary does know. Mary knows everything, man. Holy crap, that one was a long one. Like, holy crap. That was seriously long. That was a long story. So, no, Oliver Smith, I did not see the video from College Humor coming out as You now identify as a Ugandan Knuckles. Do you know the way? I know the way. Do you know the way? That's all right. So I feel bad, you know, I feel bad because I think it's a thing that I think it's a thing that a lot of kids deal with, and I think it's a thing that a lot of kids have to deal with, and they deal with a lot of these questions, and I feel like they look to their peers for answers, and those peers tell them what they've been told. And the thing is, though, if you question, you get called a bigot, or you get called a transphobe, or you get called all of these things. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because a lot of people out there will always question it. They will always want to know if this is real, if this is fake. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. And it's just, I don't know. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I do want to know what you guys think, though. Like, I really want to know. Does the stream know the way? The stream knows the way. The stream knows the way. So, you're only 2 years older than me, so you should remember middle school when every other kid was diagnosed with ADHD. I remember a lot of kids were ADHD when I was in middle school and high school. There was a lot of that. A lot of kids on Ritalin or Adderall. I remember, you know, like right now, like one of the things my girlfriend and I have been talking about, and again, don't know, is like we look at our daughter and we're like, you know, we're reading up on like what is autism, you know, like what are the signifiers or identifiers that she's on the spectrum. And so like we're looking at that. I mean, I understand being paranoid about certain things. Like we're getting her vaccines tomorrow, so I know somewhere Jenny McCarthy is screaming silently into a pillow, but it's like, I don't believe vaccines cause autism, right? But there's a part of me that has heard it so often, you know, and I'm taking my daughter in, and I look at my daughter and I love my daughter. She's beautiful beyond belief. And I'm a little bit like, but at the same time, I'm like, no. I trust science. I trust what I've seen and what I've read that aren't just coming from some blog from some mom somewhere who doesn't know her head from her anus. So there's definitely that. School equal indoctrination. Yeah. Matt is the way. Matt is the queen. So, I mean, the thing is like the thing is there's a lot of kids out there that I think get misdiagnosed in some of these cases. And I think a lot of it comes from parents who are just wanting so desperately to end up, having their kid be special. And it doesn't, and the special is not like, oh, your kid wins at the damn science fair, but the special boils down to your kid is like, disabled special, and that gives you some kind of one up. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I probably am. Autism is beautiful when you have it, and that's fine. She can join us autists to make new memes. Yeah. Purposely make my daughter autistic and then send her to 4chan. Like, have fun. You'll be here for a while. Oh no, my kid is stupid. No. My daughter is very smart. My daughter is very smart. For 2 months old, she's very smart. So you sexually identify as Five Guys fries that fell on the restaurant floor? Sure. So I'm just saying it is some shit, man. It is some serious shit. And everything. I can't believe you got through all 5. I got more stories too. I got accused of spamming videos recently because I've been uploading the long stream and then posting the individual videos. But I think people like people like both. So all right, I should probably wrap this thing up in a couple minutes. I want to go 2 hours. I want to keep it like at a 2-hour thing so I can go watch Cloverfield as well as make sure my daughter is fine. So if you guys got any final questions, definitely super chat will get top priority. Absolutely. And also Streamlabs. I'm just going to chill, man. I'm just going to chill. Don't you know YouTube is hurting alternative media? No, man, my daughter is absolutely adorable. So the Pats deserve to win. You know, Riley, you shut your mouth. This is an Eagles only place. Well, I will look over. Okay, Daniel T. I will look over the ingredients tomorrow before we go through with it. So, tell us a story about a man named Brady. There once was a man from someplace in Massachusetts. So autism is just stupid. So, no. You just took Adderall. You like both since you can watch something more meaningful than the case on British TV. I kind of miss the context of that one too. 90s kids are like night and day compared to today's kids. Yeah, I'd agree. Chelsea, you've decided to dump episode 9. The thing is, Rian Johnson's not writing and directing it, so I would hold off on that one. And I do know about the new trilogy. I don't know how I feel about it, but I know about it. So. That hurting alternative media makes it hard to share my content. I might need to take off the alternative media part, but the thing is, I am kind of alternative media. If you think about it, like, here's the thing: would you look at like, okay, for example, like anything on the Young Turks or Infowars? Would you consider them alternative media? All things considered, we do the exact same thing. We pull from different sources. We give our opinions on stuff. We're all pundits. We're not journalists, but we are a form of media. And the media does get their information from established media. So that is true. And if YouTube is, and this is actually where this is a real thing, in that announcement that Susan Wojcicki put out there, talking about the whole situation involving trying to have more trustworthy news sources on there, that becomes an issue simply because what you've got is people like me who and many people tell me, like, they come to me to know to see what's going on in some cases, than we could be host. But I have a feeling it's more aimed at like the Infowars and the guy who did a video about there being the two shooters in Vegas getting 2 million views. Like, that was a thing. So let's see here. Michelle C says, shrinks told me as a child I had no soul. I lack faith in them. Shrinks, they can be good or bad. It depends. I don't know why they tell you they have no soul. I think you have a beautiful soul, Michelle C. A beautiful soul. And then Delicious Tide Pod here says, parents making false claims about their kid being disabled makes people like me who are actually disabled look bad. You have ADD and a speech impediment. The thing was, I agree with you absolutely. I'm really wondering, like, if parents know, like, if they just don't know in some cases, like, I just don't know. And I agree though. I think people who do it, who play it up for effect as a way of getting ahead or getting their child ahead or whatever, does diminish it for people who are desperately or are truly disabled. But then what about people who want to be disabled because that's how they want to live their life? Like the trans disabled or something. So you like enter the name here, Galacia. You like chats where I invite more people. Well, I might need to do that with the. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. Where like we'll do the stories, and then the last half hour or so will be Discord chat. I had problems. I can test it tomorrow, and maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. Maybe we'll make that the last half hour of the stream will be bringing people on for a chat. Going in through the Discord and whatnot. Which, by the way, 217 of you in here right now. If you haven't already, check out the Discord, the Monday Matt Discord. The link is in the video description. So your disabled parking is pretty sweet, but overall it's not totally worth it. The parking makes up for a fair amount of it, though. You have to admit, man. Maybe there are hypochondriac parents with too much money, possibly. So there's a lot. There's a lot there that's going on in the world, and it's definitely. I think it's good to keep paying attention and shit. But yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this where we'll bring people in at a one by one thing. What I probably need to do. Okay, real quick though, I saw the thing is Tim Pool alternative media. Yes, Tim Pool is alternative media because he actually goes to the locations and does the investigation. And truth be told, I don't agree with everything he says and everything else. I've met Tim Pool. I met him at VidCon last summer. I think he's a nice guy. And I do believe that he's definitely. Alternative media. He does way more than me. My job is to find the stories, to tell you guys the crazy shit that's going on. That's what I like to talk about. I would love to do more in terms of journalism with movies, but I don't live in LA. So for me, that's going to be difficult. And otherwise it's kind of like tracking down sources. Now, if any of you guys here remember the first unsolved murder case that we talked about here. I did this months and months and months ago. I looked up an unsolved murder in Washington about a woman or an unsolved case from a woman in Tenino, which is not far from here, who went missing. Police had no trace for 9 years. I actually drove out to Tenino last night just to take a look around, because part of me keeps going back to that case, and part of me would love to start doing an investigative, an independent investigation into what happened, or at least tell the story and put it into a YouTube video, have that be a thing. So there's things I've been kind of kicking around, but getting out there and interviewing people is something that I'd like to do eventually. So, yeah, lots of stuff's going on. You sexually identify as manspreading. Awesome. Did they find the killer? Pyro Crusader? No. They never found a body. I was wrong in saying that it was a murder. It was a disappearance. So basically what it was is the woman gets off work. She worked for the state. She goes home. Her husband and her had separated a while back. The husband had their kids for that night, and the police showed up, or the husband and took the kids back the next day. She wasn't home. All of her stuff was there. No discovery, no nothing. Her cigarettes were there. Her cell phone was there. Everything was there. They never found her. But they found a weird assortment of sex toys in the closet. It's one of those things where, because it's a cold case, I might actually put in a Freedom of Information Act request on the case file, because I think I can do that. If it's a cold case not actively being investigated by the police, I think I can file a Freedom of Information Act request on that. I would just need to look into that more, because I'd like to get the police report and whatever I can get my hands on and go and look at that kind of stuff. Matt Jarbo in Serial Season 3. Oh, I would love to do a Serial. Man, holy shit, I love that stuff. I would give all of this up to go and do that. Seriously, I would dive in, constantly. So, it's a cold case. Yeah, it's a cold case. Some people might remember that I looked into that. Justice with Judge Jarbo. Guilty. Death by kinky sex. Unsolved mysteries. Yes, that's it. Mundane detective. Yeah, all those things. But I'm saying it's we talked about that, and that's been on my mind, man. That was on my mind last night when I was driving out to go see my dad, my family over there. They don't live too far away from Tenino, and I was driving out that way, and I took the turn, and I drove the I think 10 miles out into the middle of nowhere to find this small little town. And I'm just driving around this small little town going I think that's the store that the cop saw her at for the last time. I think she lived right around here, and looking at some of these houses, what secrets does this town hold? And can I be the one to unlock them? And I realized I need to get a fucking haircut. You think that chick totally left town with some side dick? Maybe. I'm just saying it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that the shit happened the way that it happened. So, but on that note, we're coming up at 11:57 p.m. So I'm definitely going to wrap this thing up. I'll be back on tomorrow night about 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, going to figure out a little earlier time, probably in the next week or so. And I will talk to you guys later. Remember, if you have any stories you want to submit, you can do so. mundanemat.com/submit. The crazier story, the better, because these stories get put out to the main crowd the next day. So one of your stories can end up on the show, and I'll even give you credit for the person who submitted it. So if you want to hear your name going out to an audience of about 160,000, then you can totally do that, and that's my way of giving back. So, all right, you guys have yourself a fantastic night. Look for my review of Cloverfield Paradox probably later on, if not early tomorrow. And I will talk to you all later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and come join the goddamn Discord.